it's Amy from Amy's Free Motion Quilting Adventures, and I've decided to just do a little bit of free motion quilting today just for the heck of it. And this is a piece I've been working on off and on um, to share with you guys on video, and I'm just having fun with it. So if you haven't seen those videos, let me point out what I've done. I've gone through and I've made some of these great big Paisley shapes. I'm going to show you my new pointer. I love it. I got it at my kids' school book fair. So these nice big Paisleys. I've done some smaller ones, some bigger ones, and I've just gone back in and done some fill work inside of them. And in a couple of places I've done some teeny tiny little Paisleys to just fill in between some big ones where it got kind of awkward. So I think what I'm going to do today is I am going to fill in this spot right here, and then we're going to come in and work on this big guy, and then maybe I might do a little bit over here. And let's see if I can keep this short and sweet and just have a little fun with it. So I'm going to do this spot right here, and I filled this one in nicely, and I want to leave this one open so that there's some contrast between what's filled and what isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my foot here somewhere. There we go. And I need to pull up my bobbin thread. Oh, let you know it. A top thread popped through there. So I am using my ruler toe. If you've seen a bunch of my videos, you've seen that I do a lot of work with rulers when I free motion on this is just a regular sewing machine, not a frame mounted machine or anything. Oh, thread just does not want to go. Let's pop it down again. Back up. And I just get used to this foot being on here. I can still see really well with it. It's nice and open, even though it's got that high lip. I'm just going to do some little loopy things down in here. Little hills and valleys from the little ruffled edge I put on the previous Paisley. Always stop to reposition your hands. And I'm just going to get a little bigger with these. I'm just going to fill in this curve. Now this is a Janome 8900 special edition in my shop, and my shop is So Simple of Lynchburg. It's in Lynchburg, Virginia, and of course this is a machine that I demo to people, and I've realized that someone has slowed the machine, went down a bunch. I probably don't normally quilt quite that slow, so I just sped up my speed control slider so that I can go a little bit faster. I am not known for being a particularly quick quilter, but don't like to go quite that slow. So what am I going to do in here? I've done a bunch of stuff before in different areas. Some little feathers, some pebbling, some little swirls. I think I'm going to, let's see, I don't know what I want to do here. I'm going to fill this in right here. Excuse me. I believe I'm going to fill it in with little teeny tiny Paisleys. Get in here just a little bit. Get where it's just a little bit wider. Though it's getting wider, I still want to keep this pretty dense. back over here so I can start some of my paisleys in a different direction. I don't want them to be too terribly directional. I'm going to come back in here. Very easy on tiny little paisleys like this. Kind of get stuck in a rut in how you start and have them kind of all be pointing in the same direction. So I try to change that up a little bit as I go. I can go back to that point and sneak back around and just kind of move things around a little bit. Fill in that little gap. These guys are pretty darn tiny. And so of course my stitches are very tiny, because if I did big stitches on such a little design, instead of looking like paisleys, they'd look like little, I don't know, octagons or something. They would have a lot of points where I'm changing direction. I don't want that. I want those curves to be nice and smooth. I'm just going to echo around over to this side so I can fill in a little area. I don't believe I have a whole lot of bobbin thread, so I hope I can get a good amount of quilting done before running out. I should have changed that before I started quilting. That's okay. Did you know that if you start quilting a lot of paisleys, it will help you make feathers? A lot of feathers. And basically little paisleys, the feather plume. Just done over and over and over again. Of course, those would be all directional, whereas these, I'm trying to not make directional. Just fill in that little tip. You can hear the sound of my machine changed a little bit because I'm going back over previous lines of stitching to travel back out of here. And you can see it's, I don't know if you can see it very well on the screen, but this has gotten very flat and this is a little more poofy. And I like that texture. I like the contrast between quilted and unquilted. So while this is a big area, I'm not going to quilt it down too densely, but I am going to put a little bit in there. Let's see, we just did some little loops over here. So let's see, I haven't done something a little more pointed in a while. I don't want to make it too pointed and too loopy, but just something a little bit more open. I'm just going for differences in texture on here. Oh, that one looked bad. That's okay. It is perfectly okay to play with your free motion and make mistakes. You don't get any better if you don't make mistakes. It just means you're doing the same thing over and over again. So give yourself some permission to make mistakes when you're practicing your free motion quilting. It means you've tried something new and different. Slow that speed down just a little bit. This fabric is called Grunge by Moda. It's a really nifty, kind of contemporary, maybe kind of modern, depends on who's defining modern and contemporary these days, kind of fabric. It's a print. It's not a batik. It's a print. It's got the turquoise. It's got some brown of the thread that I'm using, some cream in there. It's kind of a nifty fabric. I'm just backtracking back out. I'm going to leave this space here alone. Let's come on up out of here. And I've done these little scallops around the edges here and here. So I don't want to do that on this one. In fact, I think I'm just going to leave that one plain and go ahead and put some smaller paisleys around it. And really close to that edge, so that can kind of make maneuvering a little difficult. So that's pretty traditional paisley there if you wanted to just do a simple fill. It's a little less dense than those little teeny tiny things. It might be a little more dense than you would want to do on an all over on a quilt. But it makes a nice background design. Gives some really beautiful texture. I'm going to leave those plain. I'm going to come out here and do a bigger one. And now I'm going to sneak back through and come back on this side because it's real close to this previous design. And I don't want to try to come in there from the other direction and then have to come back out. So sneaking through allows me to just put one line in there and come back around. I think I'm going to put little feathers off of this one. Little feather plumes. You see, they look a lot like the beginning of a lot of these paisleys. I'm going to rotate because I'm getting close to this little edge here. It's kind of awkward to hold on to. Always make sure when you are doing a practice piece that you give yourself enough to hold on to so that you don't have awkward spaces to grab, because this is going to for me, I've got my bobbin case door cut around on my Supreme slider, and I can feel that when my fingers are up on fabric only without the batting, and it kind of snags. So yes, what I'm telling you is do what I say, not what I do. Oh goodness, spoken like a true mother. Anywho, just having a little fun. You want your free motion to get good, you've got to practice. It really helps to draw, to doodle, use a dry erase board, magna doodle, paper. I've got sketchbooks by the ton with designs in them. And I've just gone through and just filled in this little area. Back out. Let's see how that bobbin looks. I am just about out of bobbin thread, so I am going to call it a night and just say thank you so much for watching. Put a little pebble in here. Once again, if you'd like to learn more about free motion quilting, I recommend that you go to my blog, Amy's Free Motion Quilting Adventures. The web address is freemotionquiltingadventures.com. Yes, it's a little long, but apparently I'm long-winded. Anyway, you can also watch my classes on Craftsy. I teach free motion quilting with rulers. And my next video will be using the rulers. It's been a little while since I've done one with rulers. Alright, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks so much for watching. Again, this is Amy. Bye-bye.